Hello everybody. Today in Home Ec Lab we will be making one of those dishes that just screams comfort food and is a staple in many family kitchens. Classic meatloaf. Family recipes like meatloaf are special. They connect us to our memories and traditions. Maybe your grandparents had their own version, or perhaps you've watched someone in your family prepare it over the years. Today, we'll create our own version while learning some techniques that make it tender, flavorful, and absolutely delicious. As always, let's set up our mise en place so that the cooking process goes smoothly. You can follow along in the recipe posted below the video. We're going to start by preheating our oven to 350 degrees, which I have done. And we've got a lot of ingredients here, but we'll get to all of them. For our meatloaf, we will need 1 pound of ground beef and 1 pound of ground pork. I love to buy these in the 1 pound packs, put them in the freezer, and then a few days before I'm going to use them, put them in the refrigerator. Now, beef is going to give this meatloaf a rich flavor and hearty texture, while the pork adds moisture and tenderness. Using a combination helps prevent a dry meatloaf and creates that perfect bite. We are also going to need some yellow onion, 2 cups, finely diced. So we haven't already in previous recipes done finely minced is what it's supposed to be. You have done diced, but minced is smaller pieces than that. So I wanted to show you, I've cut almost 2 cups, but I wanted to show you just quickly. So if we are dicing, we go across the rainbow, right? Depends on how comfortable you are with your knife skills. Go across. This is not the fastest way to do it, but it is a good way for people who are not very confident in using a sharp knife. So these pieces might still be a little bigger than minced. So we're going to use our knife and just go back through a couple times, different directions. Just keep going until you think they're fine enough. I think that's pretty good for now. So this was 1 onion for about 2 cups. Now, onions are going to provide a sweetness and a depth to the meatloaf, and finely mincing them ensures that they cook evenly and blend seamlessly into the meat mixture without having larger chunks of onion that you bite into here and there. So get those nice and finely minced. Onions have been used in cooking for thousands of years. They not only add flavor, they also add nutrition and aroma. Another wonderful ingredient is garlic. We're going to need 6 cloves of garlic minced. Now, I buy garlic already peeled in bulk, and I just blend it up myself with a little olive oil. So that's about 6 cloves minced. And garlic brings a punch of flavor and pairs beautifully with the other herbs that we're going to be using. Oh, minced garlic releases more flavor than whole cloves or larger chunks. It's full of antioxidants too. On the seasoning side over here, we're going to use 1 teaspoon of dried rosemary, 1 teaspoon of dried thyme. So we got those 2 here. And then a half a teaspoon of paprika. Now, I like to chop these up a little bit. They're going to give us that classic flavor, but I do feel like the rosemary can be a bit long and a little bit coarse if we don't chop it up. So, if you have a little grinder, you could give it a few whizzes with that too, but I like to just use a knife. popping all over. Okay. That is our rosemary and thyme ready to go. And the smoked paprika is going to add that subtle smokiness that enhances the meat's flavor. Another really important ingredient is crushed saltines. We're going to need 1 cup of crushed saltines. So saltines are just crackers like you might have with soup. And you can crush them a variety of ways. You could just put them in a bag and crush it with your hands. I like to use my meat mallet, the flat side. You want to get those nice and small. Hold on. I'll get the 1/3 of a cup of milk too. All right, that's pretty good. So the saltines act like a binder that hold the meatloaf together while keeping it tender. Some recipes call for breadcrumbs or panko, but my family recipe calls for crushed saltines, and I think they work best. So let's also get our milk out. We got so many ingredients here. 1/3 of a cup of milk. Have that ready to pour in. The milk is going to rehydrate the saltine crumbs, and that mixture is going to trap the juices inside the meat. We'll also need 2 eggs. And so I'll go ahead and just crack those in here so they're ready. There we go. And then, the egg mixture is also something that is going to help bind together the meatloaf mixture. And we're going to use a tablespoon of Dijon mustard, which helps add a gentle tanginess and helps deepen the flavor. We got a lot going on here. These small touches will make a huge difference in the flavor and texture of our meatloaf. Now also, in addition to the meatloaf, we're going to be making a sauce. We'll also need 2 tablespoons of olive oil, a frying pan, and a baking sheet lined with parchment. You can line it with foil, but we're going to line ours with parchment. So we're going to need a mixing bowl for the meatloaf, and so a few kitchen utensils. Like meat thermometer is going to be very important. All right, so now let's get cooking. We'll come back to this sauce in a bit. We're going to need 2 tablespoons of olive oil. We're going to put in the pan and we'll use this to bloom the spices and saute the onions. Blooming the spices releases their oils and intensifies their flavors. A simple step you do not want to miss. We're also going to be making a delicious glaze for the meatloaf that will elevate it to the next level. For the glaze, we're going to need 3/4 of a cup of ketchup. And I'm just going to assemble this while we're talking about it. 1 tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce. 2 tablespoons of balsamic vinegar. Ooh. And 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. So by the time we get to using this, the sugar will be dissolved and the flavors will be melding together. This adds such a beautiful sweetness and acidity and shininess to the crust of your meatloaf. Making your glaze is so much better than store-bought. Allows you to balance the flavors. So we're going to go ahead and mix that now. I see the sugar already dissolving. Oh my goodness. It smells so good. Those flavors are developing. All right, so now we're going to need our frying pan. Go ahead and drizzle in a couple of tablespoons of oil, and over medium heat, which on my oven is about 8. We are going to add in the garlic. The rosemary and thyme that I've chopped up a little bit. The smoked paprika. And we're going to let these spices warm up here and bloom for a minute or so. You might think, oh, this isn't such a big step, but it really makes a difference. Don't skip it. We'll let it go a little bit longer. Okay, now let's go ahead and add in the onions. And we're going to put in 1 teaspoon of salt and 1 teaspoon of pepper. And we're going to cook this for about 5 minutes until the onions are turning translucent but not browning. We don't want them to be turning brown. Okay, I think these vegetables look like they are cooked. The onions look softened. So I feel like the herbs are releasing all the flavor, and the onions and the salt and pepper. Looks great. They are cooked to soften but not browned. So I'm going to turn this off and get to the next step of our meatloaf. All right, for step 2, we're going to be mixing up the meatloaf. So the directions say, in a large bowl, combine the crushed saltines, the milk, the parsley, where are you, parsley? And the eggs. Let's beat those up a little bit. Alrighty. Then we're going to add the Dijon. And the remaining salt and pepper. So that was 2 more teaspoons of salt. And 1 more of pepper. Alright, so we're going to mix until the crumbs, the saltine crumbs, are fully hydrated and the eggs are fully incorporated. Alright, there we go. And now we're going to add in the cooked onions and the beef and the pork. Don't be concerned about touching the raw meat with your hands, as long as you're clean when you start, and then wash them thoroughly with plenty of soap when you're done. So we're going to be putting in the pork and the beef. And then we're going to be sure to not overmix, because overmixing can make your meatloaf tough. There's the pork. Okay. Oh, one more. There we go. All right. So I'm going to have to get my hand in there to kind of help mix it around and mix, especially to incorporate the meats together. Just kind of squashing motions. And you'll be able to tell when the meat is mixed in with the other ingredients. Be sure you're scraping the bottom and bringing everything back up to the top. There's just really no way to mix this up without using your good clean hands. If this makes you, if this bothers you, you could put on a glove or something. But as long as your hands are freshly washed, you're good to go. So the next step is shaping and glazing our meatloaf. So let's get our cookie sheet with the parchment, and we're going to plop this out on it. Oh, I kind of did that the wrong direction. It's okay. All right, and we're going to shape it kind of in a football shape. Some recipes call for making your meatloaf in a loaf pan. There we go. But forming it on the baking sheet instead helps it to have more browning on the sides and more coverage with the delicious glaze. So here is a pro tip. Once you get your meatloaf formed, use your hand and make kind of a dent in the middle, a trench. And some of the glaze is going to collect there. It's going to be delicious. All right, I'm going to wash my hands and then we'll get moving along. So we're going to stir up our glaze and make sure our sugar is dissolved. It looks fantastic. We're going to use about half of this glaze to put in the trench and spread all over the top and the sides of the meatloaf. You don't have to be exact with how much, just about half for now. Ooh, this smells so good, tangy. And as it cooks, it'll run down the sides too. Maybe a little more. Okay. Now we're going to pop this beauty into the oven and bake it at 350 for 30 minutes. Then I'm going to take it out and put the remaining glaze and bake it for another 15 to 20 minutes. Then we'll check the internal temperature to see if it is ready to be removed from the oven. Using a meat thermometer is really crucial for both safety and quality. It ensures that this meatloaf is going to reach the proper internal temperature of 160 degrees for a mixture of beef and pork, so that harmful bacteria are destroyed, and at the same time it prevents overcooking, which can dry out the meat. So a thermometer takes guesswork out of cooking, giving you perfectly cooked, juicy, and safe meat every time. So I'm going to pop this in the oven and finish the glazing, and I'll see you back for the reveal and the taste test. There you have it. Alrighty, welcome back to the kitchen. I have removed this beauty from the oven because when I checked it, it was 160. It's gone up a little bit, which is not unusual for it to do once it's even after it's removed from the oven. So we are good to go, safe to eat, and in a few minutes we will do just that. We'll give it a taste test, but we need to let it sit for 10 minutes before slicing it, so that will help keep the juices inside, keep it moist. It smells so good, I can't wait, but I'm going to need to wait because it needs to rest. So I'll see you back in a bit for the taste test and the reveal and the taste test. And now the moment you've all been waiting for, the taste testing. Let's see what it looks like inside, and then we'll give this beauty a taste. Oh, get that. It's steaming, and look at the juice. Ooh, if you can see that. So much juiciness in there. All right. Let's see, the meat is so tender. Oop, I flipped it over. That's okay. Let's give it a taste. That is so flavorful. My mouth's watering. Perfectly balanced with the sweet and savory glaze. Each bite has layers of flavor from the herbs and the garlic and the onions. Making meatloaf from scratch is so rewarding, and you can truly taste the difference and know exactly what's in it. So, thanks for joining me in the kitchen today. See you next lab, and remember, stay curious and keep cooking. Now I'm gonna take this and go pair it up with some mashed potatoes and some fresh veggies and have a really good dinner. See you later.